I'm afraid I'll need a few minutes of quiet, that is. I do find conversation stimulating but distracting from my work. Jack settled in next to Lily on the couch. Settled. He wrapped his arm around her and whispered in her ear. Am I not pleasing enough to your people? Am I not pleasing enough to your people? Lily turned and looked up into his face, grabbing him by the ears and pulling him to her mouth. The shock made him not resist, and the desire she stoked made him forget himself. They were interrupted with a sharp cough. Don't use that device for a bit. I'm running a program. And that was a good catch of yours. I think you've got a good catch there, Jack. I'll be back in half an hour. I'm sure you two can entertain yourselves. I'll shut the door on my way out. Lily pushed at Jack's chest. You can't start something like that, little girl, and expect to get away. 1, this is an office. 2, the door's not locked. And 3, you have 5 minutes only. I don't like this 5-minute rule. I'm negotiating for 20. 10. 25. 5. I'll take 20. He pulled his phone out and started the timer. He pulled her up into his arms and across his lap, pressing her back into the cushions, taking his time. To taste her. But they were interrupted long before the alarm went off, with a knock at the door. She pushed at him hard and straightened her hair and his shirt. Her lips were red and bruised. She looked lovely. Enter. There's a small coterie of women. Oh. There's a small coterie of people from the accounting department. What was left of them. They seemed surprised to see Lily. He had forgotten that he called for this meeting. And could have kicked himself putting her in that position. Well, you requested us, sir. Yes. We're going to be recruiting. Oh. I want you to report on whether you need recruitment. You need extra hands to accomplish the work. Well, we don't have an auditor anymore. One of the women, the older woman's, stepped forward. We don't have an auditor anymore. Nor do we have any basic bookkeepers. Interesting. Do you have anyone you'd recommend? Recommend? Well, then we'll hire some people, won't we? If you know anyone, have them apply. I assume you know what it means to vouch for someone's. He raised one brow. It seemed to chill the air. He nodded. Do you have any other requirements? The older woman spoke again. Well, we would like to make sure that another woman spoke for her. We would like to make sure they actually are doing work. There are far too many pretty girls in the department. She raised a brow. Understood. Once they've got through the first two panels, I'll let you all interview them. Will that satisfy you? There are multiple nods for the group. He noticed one man staring at his shoes and pointedly not making eye contact. I'll tell you what. I would like to have individual interviews with all of you. I really do want to see this department's rather important to us, to our success. I would like to make sure that I am fully accommodating you. I'd like to start with the men. How about you? Yes, the one in the gray jacket. With the dark purple tie. What's your name? The man finally raised his head, but still avoided eye contact. Wade Smith. Mr. Wade Smith. Please remain. No. Miss Larson. Oh. Miss Larson, would you please make a schedule? I think interviews could be, once an hour. Emma. Oh, Miss Larson. If you'll make a schedule for everyone, I believe an hour should suffice and allow me to get my work done. Thank you. That meant they were summarily dismissed. Mr. Wade Smith, please take a seat. The man had still not made eye contact, but did sit across from them in the plush single chair. The plush leather chair opposite them. There you go. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with your position within the department. He could see the man was about ready to collapse from nerves. No one's being fired today. I'm trying to add to the department, not subtract. Please share with me. Feel at ease to share your concerns. The man still seemed frightened, but finally spoke. made a mistake. Well, speak up. I still don't know what you do. I'm in charge of distribution and reimbursements for staff and company purchases. And your mistake would be I was unaware of your relationship. Was unaware of your with an Angela Larkspur. I was quite insistent that I could not provide her a company card without your direct approval. I won't be fired for that, will I? No, you'll get a bonus. You did right. Angela Larkspur is a cousin of mine, but has nothing to do with the company, nor my personal life. What else did she say she was? She said she was your fiancé, but I've worked with Miss Lily here, and I believe you two have a more personal relationship. So I doubted her. Was I wrong? Please relax. You're going to get a bonus. You did a good job. Oh, I already put that in there. She's been claiming that for years, all in her own head. I have put out instructions that she and her mother are not allowed in the building. However, you did good. Lily is my fiancé. The man's eyes widened. Congratulations. Truly. Should I give her a company card? She doesn't need it. She. You don't have my personal number, do you? No, sir. Well, anytime anyone comes to you with an erroneous claim of some sort of connection, or it just doesn't feel right, I want you to immediately text me, and I will address it. The man shook his head and offered out his phone. Lily put it in. She handed the man back his phone. Sleeping Beauty. A wry smile. You don't really want people to know. You have his number, do you? No, I suppose not. That's a good idea. But why Sleeping Beauty? Would you prefer a sleeping dragon? No, no. That's good. It'll make no sense to anyone else. I'll keep vigilant, sir. I promise. Was that your only concern? No, sir, it's not. That one of the women that you dismissed last week, she's called me a few times. She's quite upset. That's normal. It's unfortunate you gave her your number. You should just block her. I have, sir. Is she bothering you after hours? Yes, sir, my girlfriend's not very understanding right now. have a solution for you before the end of the day. I'm going to send some people to talk with you. Thank you, sir. I really do appreciate it. I don't want to miss my Lindsay. After it's sorted out, why don't we have dinner with your Lindsay to let her know there was a workplace disturbance and nothing to do with you. That would be fabulous, sir. Truly fabulous. I couldn't thank you enough. Call your girl on the way down. Call your Lindsay on the way down. And go see Langston in technology. Explain yourself. I'll let him know you're coming. Where am I going? Who's coming? Langston took the young man. Oh. Timid man to the far end of the office. Jack carried Sarah to his desk and placed her in his large chair, retrieving a small one for him to sit in. He had hours worth of contracts to read through and project proposals. He spent long enough on other people's problems. He set Lily to the task of reading through things he'd already seen to see if she saw problems with the numbers. No, to look through the contracts to see if she saw trouble with the numbers before handing them off to him. There are multiple sticky tabs in each one with questions. Relevant, but not always germane. She did save him a few $1 million on a couple things. She had shown her worth. Langston. He looked up and realized this frightened man had left, and Langston was busy on her desktop. Oh, you two keep working. This was a bit more serious than I expected. And what about his stalker? Oh, I took care of that. I would suggest, though, investigating her work. She was let go last week. Yes, she couldn't seem to identify. She couldn't pass Lily's test. Lily had a good idea, and we went with it. Why do you want me to check her work? I read the chat history. I'm afraid she may be part of the problem we're having here. Really? Why don't you call one of your people and have them look at her accounts, her personal accounts? Make sure she doesn't have any extra money floating about. Jack's eyebrows went up. I can't even remember the woman's face. Do you remember anybody in the accounting department, Jock? In truth, no. She was a very attractive young woman. She often wore red dresses, red lipstick, and red high heels. She was quite coordinated. Is that something to be held against her? Well, she was a bit too flashy. And she bragged a bit. He only worked there for 2 days. It was long enough to see her. You only need to hear it 10 times to know it's not something she does occasionally. Jack left Lily to her work and made a few calls. Langston had called up 2 rather unkempt young men. In stark contrast to his neat lines. Before Jack got a call back. Oh dear. What is it, Jack? What is it, Jack? Well, I suppose oh dear is the polite way of putting it. He bade Langston to come over. Bade. Lily, do you recognize this woman? Should I? Do you recognize the man with her? She narrowed her eyes and peered closely at the screen. Oh. Isn't that one of the old Don's sons? Which one was that? He wasn't flirting with me. No. He's the one who arranged my evening. Oh. Oh. That's not good, Jack. That's not good at all. We need her photo and can't you do some sort of facial recognition software for people coming into the lobby? Langston looked at her strangely. I suppose it would cost some money. Well, it might save the company quite a bit more. I have to admit I did not recognize her without her red dress. Jack, do you want me to explore this possibility? No, I want you to implement it. Lily's right. And if what you're facing right, if what you're trying to fix right now was started with something she did, we could have a lot more trouble. Do you know anyone in intelligence? Langston shook his head, then reconsidered. Well, I have a friend. He's a bit odd. Well, invite your odd friend over. I want every employee here to have a background check redone on them. Langston, I'm going to ask if you and your odd friend can help put that together. I've got a lot of things. I know. Jack lowered his voice. I know, but I need people that I know are not compromised to handle this. Langston's eyes went wide. Understood. I'll get on that right now. Can I borrow your spare room? He went to a concealed panel Lily had not noticed and disappeared behind the wall. What's back there? I'll show you later. But I'll give you a hint. If you ever need a shower, you can get one back there. Her brows knit together. Lily's brows knit together. We've missed lunch, you know. I'm aware of that. Well, why don't you order something? Why don't you order something? Enough for 10 people. I have a feeling we're going to have a long night. Pick things that will be delightful cold, like fried chicken. That sounds good to me. Her eyebrows knit together again. Just ask one of the secretaries. Just ask one of the secretaries outside the door. Oh, and make sure you have something for the big guy. He's going to be putting in extra duty today. The sun had set, and a new department had been created before they arrived home. Oh. Even if Lily's feet were fine, he liked this holding of her as he carried her in. He liked her smell and her warmth. And he was determined to continue, even if she protested. His grandmother was thrilled. His Larkspur cousins were not. sowing discord in the house and blaming Lily for being late to dinner. Despite no evidence. They had shared cold chicken. They had at the office. So only needed a light snack. The big guy was staying the night, as he often did, and had disappeared into the kitchen to satisfy his needs. He caught up to Lily at the top of the stairs. Angela was speaking low to her, and he saw the redness creeping up Lily's face, coloring her ears. He wrapped his arms around her back as his cousin threw herself to the ground, whining that she was being bullied. This was something he remembered from his childhood. Not his childhood. His childhood. Though it was a different cousin. It was the same motivation. Distract, distrust, and sympathy. Jack would have none of it, and scooped Lily over his shoulder, threw Lily over his shoulder, smacking her smartly on the backside, and walked past Angela, crying on the ground. Are you sure you don't want to attend to her? She looks awful pitiful. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. He rested his hand on her backside this time. It was lush, and the first time he'd truly felt it. Wow. Have you... He let her slide down him. Thank you for returning me to... Wait, this isn't my room. No, it's not. Her nose flared. You're my fiancé now. You and I need to stay in the same room. Besides, I don't trust those Larkspur women. They always cause trouble. It's getting near Christmas. There'll be more. They'll need your room. I already asked someone to move your things in here. My rings too. Your rings too, little thing. my little crow. A girl has to have her priorities straight. So you're okay with me calling? So you're fine with me calling you a crow? What? They're smart, highly intelligent birds, and they pass down information generation to generation. They can remember the face of an evil man and even tell their grandchildren about him. Why wouldn't I be proud to be called a crow? Because they also like shiny things and steal. Well, I don't steal, but I do like my shiny things. Go take a shower and get to bed. I'm not sleeping in the same bed as you. I won't touch you. I have more self-control than that. I don't think so. Put on 2 layers of pajamas. I promise. I'm far too tired tonight to cause you any trouble. She raised an eyebrow at him. That's not the part of you that I'm worried about being tired. Well, if you keep talking about it. No. She put up her hands and ran to the bathroom. They returned quickly and gathered some things. And looked through the closet, gathering things. They really did bring my things over here. My clothes over here. Her face had turned red. Before she disappeared into the bathroom again. He lived this much of his life without causing anyone trouble. He could continue. Whether or not the object of his desire was lying inches from him. Lying under the covers inches from him. There you go. Got another 5,000 words in there. That's pretty good. I'm going to try for a 30,000 word book today to get to the end. I still got a lot to. Oh my gosh, I got all that other stuff to put in, the earlier stuff. Well, and then I have to edit. I'll try to get it done within 48 hours. That's my challenge for the day. She'd been far too warm and cuddly, and smelled. Oh, delightful. Curled up on his chest. He truly did not want to move. he had managed to keep himself on his side of the mattress, and was pleased with his self-discipline. She, however, had none. And then hooked her leg high over his abdomen, pressing hard at his belly button, her arm wrapped around his neck, her nose pressed into the side of his chest. She clung to him like he was a tree she was fearing of falling out of. And frankly, he wouldn't have it any other way. He simply kept his eyes shut and enjoyed the warmth and her soft breathing. He moved his fingers just to find out where they were, and encountered silky, fabric coating what would be ribs, a waist. He slid his hand up a bit further on the silky fabric and encountered softness, delightful softness. He needed to stop, but he just had to know. He let his fingers curve around, and he kept his eyes shut. Enjoying the heavy weight in his hand. He could not help the smile on his face as he allowed himself to drift off again. He still had a firm grasp of her breast as he received a sharp smack he woke with a sharp smack across his face, realizing he still had a firm grip on her breast. Realizing quickly he still had a firm grip on her breast. That's it. His senses had been quickly restored. I'm on my side of the bed. You are the hooligan. He watched her look about herself and realized where her leg was. She turned crimson. He did give her breast one squeeze, and she narrowed her lips at him, gritting her teeth. I think you put it in the vicinity. Truly, it's not me. She tried to peel herself away from him. I don't get a good morning kiss. She pushed him hard in the chest before rolling away. You don't get to sleep in my bed again. Well, you're the one who's the problem. Whether I'm the problem or not, whether I'm the problem or not. She couldn't finish the sentence and stamped her foot, hiding in the closet, and then disappearing into the bathroom. He laughed to himself. Plenty of breasts had been pushed at him over the years, and he'd felt more than one. Not on purpose, not seeking them out. But this was definitely delightful, and quite a handful. He hadn't been able to tell from her. Conservative gear. Or 2 layers of pajamas that she had worn to bed. But there's quite a bit under there. It was a week. Before the new system was installed. No less than 5 people had been discovered. They didn't all work for the same competitor, but they certainly were not there. They were certainly not within the ranks. Under innocent. Under innocent purpose? It's not the word I'm looking for, but innocent purpose. Here. For innocent reasons. They also found a few people who were regularly pursuing their pornographic enjoyment. They too were reprimanded and redirected. Hopefully they were trainable, but would be watched. They'd scheduled dinner with Mr. Smith and his girlfriend for Monday night. It would be at a restaurant, an informal. Oh, and office formal. The girl's eyes were just as large as Smith's. They seemed well matched. She was reassured by their meeting. But Lily had an odd feeling off the girl. She couldn't quite put her finger on it. But she didn't like when women made her, well, when anyone made her uncomfortable. She learned that long ago, when serving. On the way home in the car, she wrapped her arm around Jack. He leaned in to kiss her, but she put her finger to his lips. I want you to investigate that girl, Smith's girlfriend. Why? Maybe I'm overly sensitive in what we've seen this last week, but I had a little tingle up my spine when I shook her hand, and I didn't like the way she looked at you through dinner. You were jealous. Yes, I was jealous, but that wasn't it. There's something else. All right. He made a quick phone call. It wouldn't be terrible to have a broader investigation into each person. Do you know how much money that costs, Lily? How much money do you bleed when it's true? Jack sucked his lips in and popped them out. Do you know, that's something that I have always had at my fingertips. Easily investigate anyone who I could potentially romantically be involved with. What if we provided a dating service through the work? Screen potential. Oh, that would be so invasive to people's privacy. I don't think anyone would ever. It would not be mandatory. It could facilitate. Call it a blind dating service. You really think that's a good idea? I certainly would have been eliminated. True. Well, but you look at your character. You are not your parents. Speaking of that, you know, I haven't heard I feel a little guilty, but I've not checked on them for some time. It's been dreamlike. Not hearing my mother curse me out. It has been dreamlike, not hearing my mother curse me out, but I do think I should probably get someone to update you. Or do you want to contact her directly? She shrugged her shoulders. If she contacted them directly, it would ruin his plans. Oh, ruin all the work he'd done. But he had to let her choose. No, I don't really want to talk with her. Just know if they're okay or not. see if the boy is still in school. He is my brother after all. Jack made another call. My stepfather's dead. I'm sorry, Lily. I didn't know. Jack's chest ached. He hadn't meant that severe a punishment. He simply meant them to be out of town. Should I? It looks like the funeral happened weeks ago. Lily, could you put the window up? The driver complied. The big man puffed in his seat. Lily, Sarah's dead. Her eyebrows went up. Your parents believe you're dead. That you didn't make it out of that van. What? It was the appropriate time. I thought us having your phone disappear off the end of a cliff would keep you safe, but it didn't work. Wait. You mean... I didn't fully explain to you. The old Don we had dinner with, it was his friend's, well, a family friend who's lower ranking. Individuals took you for paying a debt. You mean this had to do with my stepfather? And apparently your mother agreed to it. You were a settlement. Her eyebrows went up. It wouldn't be the first time they'd tried that, you know. Jack's heart ached again. I'm sorry, Lily. So you let them believe I'd perished? Yes, they were sent a death certificate. They didn't have to identify a body. It had been identified by a friend. Really? You mean I'm gone? Lily, you're now you. Now you're Lily. All of that's behind you. But my friends, who do you think identified you? You mean Sam knows? And Billy? They understand. They did it to protect you. She did something he'd not really seen her do. She began to cry, truly bawl. She gripped his lapels and pulled her face into his chest and just sobbed. Jack, I don't want to wait a year. What do you mean? I was waiting for my father to show up again, or my mother to call. My brother to have some sort of issue, or call from the police station. I don't have that life anymore. I don't need to wait and see if I'll embarrass you. I don't need to wait and see if I'll embarrass you. There's nothing left. There's nothing left that can. Are you saying you'll marry me? I'm saying I'd marry you today if it could be organized. His eyebrows went up. Well, I could have it done by this weekend. She nodded her head. I'll let Grandma know tonight. She stared into his eyes. I don't want anyone to I don't want those Larkspurs people around. They're dangerous. Well, that's why we sent them away before. Well, how did you send them before? It won't work this time. But I have another way. Couldn't she be married off to someone else? What are you thinking? Well, I don't want her in town. But do you have someone... I really think she's after you because of your ranking. And your money. I know that's why she's after me. That's why they were after me. That's why they were banished before. I'll make a few calls. I'm sure there's someone out there. Someone who would be enticing enough. In need of her.
Hello, Moto.
Oops, it's Diana. I'll be a moment or 10.